Welcome to another episode, Focus in Finance. My name is Shirley Luu, your host for the day. You know what? I'm really excited today because next to me I had this awesome gentleman. His name is Roderick Johnson. And Roderick Johnson, I tell you, he's on the move because he's a CEO, founder of RLJ Financial Consultants. And I'm so excited to have him here today. Roderick, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you for having me.
Well, Roderick, I know it's not every day that I get to have you to myself on the show here because you've been such a busy man running around doing so many things. Why don't you tell them a little bit about your background, about your firm and things like that, and how awesome thing that you and I are now working together as well.
Yes, well, Shirley, I'm glad that we're working together. Now, RLJ Financial Consultants is located in Washington, D.C., and we are a full-service brokerage firm. What that means is that we provide commercial lending brokerage services, personal insurance brokerage services, as well as business brokerage services. Now, we have three things that we like to do. One is to mitigate the risk of a business operating by offering business insurance, and on the personal side, being able to help people build wealth as well as protect themselves with long-term care insurance, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And then on the lending side, bursting open the vault doors of the local banks to be able to pour money into local, growing, and profitable banks, profitable companies throughout the DMV.
Well, you're definitely someone I think the audience needs to know if you're looking for those kind of things. Roderick is a man to call. So Roderick, I know that right now you and I are sitting here talking, and within the last couple months, the financial industry has been a whirlwind, and I know you work with so many business owners. So what's going on? Tell me what you just see.
Well, what I'm seeing are businesses and individuals are in a panic. The stock market is going down, and they're wondering, what do I do?
Yeah.
How do I stop this? I'm concerned about my investments. Are there products out there that can help mitigate that loss that I'm seeing right now in the stock market?
Wow, and I know you see that. So when you do talk to them, or they say, "Yeah, let's do this. Tell me, teach me, tell me more," or what's
All
happening?
right. So one of the things that I bring up is the Index Universal Life Policy. Okay. And what I say is this: you have 3 in 1.
Yeah.
All right. The first one is, look, you are tying part of the monthly payment that you make to the stock market. So you can choose whether it's the Standard & Poor's, BlackRock, Bank of America. Okay. So that's the first part. So you're saving. The second part is then you have the long-term portion of that policy, long-term care portion of that policy. So that if something happens to you down the road, and let's say that you get Alzheimer's or dementia, then a portion of that policy will be able to pay for that. And then thirdly, you're able to generate generational wealth so that when you transition, then you have what I call a pot of gold there for your beneficiaries to be able to take advantage of on a tax-free basis.
Absolutely. And I think he mentioned about a couple of those funds. By the way, there are many funds, not just those, okay? There are a lot of the S&P 500 that you can participate in. So that's just a few that he had mentioned. And I think that it's important that he brought up about the IUL is because during this crisis, while people are getting laid off, you're looking at life insurance that they currently have. That's why they're losing it, and that's why you're going with these other more permanent things, right?
All right. So so the second part of that is, all right, the life insurance. So as we know, the life insurance is typically just a term policy.
Right.
And so with these layoffs or RIFs, whichever term you want to use, then they lose the term policy. Now, if they decide that they want to keep the term policy, that now that they're not under the group coverage,
right,
then now that the policy actually goes up in terms of the cost of the policy. Okay. And so now you have that extra burden of paying the additional monies for that policy. Or the second thing is you just lose the policy altogether.
Yeah, but could also that play in a factor about my health? Like if I, I'm now, for 57 years old, I just got laid off, and then before I was paying like $40, $50. Now what am?
You're paying possibly $200, for that policy instead of the $50 because again you don't have the group benefit of paying just the $50.
Right, but you know what? Millions and millions of your viewers out there are depending on the company life insurance that they think they're going to work there forever.
Yes, well, now there's an opportunity though, see, because they have the opportunity to now become entrepreneurs, okay? And with Shirley Luu and Associates, you have the opportunity now to take your destiny into your own hands. Do you want to talk about Shirley Luu and Associates a little bit and how they can now take their destiny into their own hands?
Wow, you know what? I didn't expect to bring that on here, but that brings it to the entrepreneurship. I think that's in life. I always tell folks, you can have your job, you can do whatever it is that you need to do, but you have to have plan B. You got to have a backup plan, and in the backup plan is yes, he let the cat out of the bag. So one of the things I offer people is stability, an opportunity to learn about the financial industry. For those of you who's been watching my show closely, you know that I've been passionate about teaching about financial education literacy across individual and company and corporate. And I'm not gonna lie to you, as we're speaking right now, we have so much business coming in from corporate America, from everywhere else that are wanting our service. And that's one of the reasons why I have Roderick on the team with me, because we're about to venture into a whole different field. Before, we focus a lot on individual, but now I'm also going towards working with companies, nonprofit, major church organization, and everywhere else out there that needs our help. Because like you said, in a company plan, traditionally when you think of it, they have what's called group life insurance, right,
Yes.
Roderick?
Yes.
Well, Roderick and I are now working on bringing the IUL, Indexed Universal Life, by the way, into corporate. Did you hear what I just said? We'll bring into corporations, so that instead of just having employee having temporary insurance, is now offer them portability, meaning we can have that policy.
Yes.
And what does portability means?
They can carry it with them when they leave their employer.
Oh, it is amazing. It is amazing. And at that time, it locks in the prices, locks in everything they have. They don't have to worry about that, because I think that is an incentive for a company, to have out there.
Yes. And see, we're able to offer employee benefits, but also through RLJ, then that company can also get money to grow and expand, right? Because we offer commercial lending services. So as I said earlier, I help bust open the vault doors of these local banks in order to pour money into your company to grow.
Absolutely. And I think, and you need that, company out there today, you financial standpoint, you say, gosh, I can definitely use that extra $50,000, $100,000, and if you do, guess what? The man sitting next to me here, Roderick Johnson, is your guy. Being able to have those. And you know what I love about what you do is all about services. They need it, you provide. And from him helping you with financial planning, part of that piece of that, you're not paying for it, guys. It's a free service, it's a consultation that he provides.
Yes. Look, one of my things is, again, to mitigate the risk for you operating your business. How do we do that? By offering professional liability, business liability insurance, cybersecurity, key person life insurance. And in fact, with the key person life insurance, we can offer the IUL product. Right?
What if I told you in the IUL product, we have a thing called for corporation and company that they can do what's called the 5-year retirement plan?
Tell us more about that.
Okay, so you talk about lending funding, right? Look, here's one of the cool things about this is that if you know how the games are played, it's pretty cool. The way the 5-year planning retirement plan works like this. So you're an executive, Roderick, and you're offering the IUL, and let's put that IUL on steroids. Now, I always say that is because imagine as a company, right, and you're the CEO, or you could be the executive vice president. If you put in, let's say the company put in $25,000 a year. What if I told you there's a unique way called leverage where they can add close to $75,000 every time you put in 25 to your retirement? So instead of traditional 401k where you only get 25,000 and get 3% matching, 6% matching, and this you're talking about having a leverage program where a lender working with that company front load most of that money. So now your money is growing not on 25, but imagine growing on 100. That's major difference.
Major. That is major.
And you know, and most company and individual like us, we're looking the old way, right? Roderick, what they put in regular 401k stuff, and they're going, and then it's taxable.
Yes.
And if it's under an IUL, is it taxable?
No.
No, why not?
You know.
Why not?
Well, Shirley, tell us.
Well, he said that is because he wanted to give me the Gloria.
Yes.
Under the life insurance IUL, when you take it out, if you take it out as a loan feature, it is all tax free. Now remember, your money is growing the entire time based on performance of the market too, by the way. And the difference is that if the market loses money, do you lose money in the IUL?
You do not lose money in an IUL.
So what happens if the market goes down?
Then you still have money there. You're not in the negative. So let's use this example.
Okay.
So you have $100.
Yes.
Let's just say, for example, you use the Standard & Poor's, the peg that you chose.
Yeah.
All right. So the market goes up 10%. So now you have $110.
Yes.
All right. So now the next year, let's say 2026.
Yeah.
Your floor is now $110. Okay.
Oh.
Now, in 2026, the market goes down 10%.
Right.
Okay. Well, your floor is still 110. Okay. So you haven't lost anything at all. Whereas if you normally have your money in the market, if the market goes down 10%, then you actually lose 10% value in your portfolio. So here you don't lose.
You hear that guy? That's like he's taking you to the casino, play all day long, and you never lose a hand. How's that? There's such a casino, huh? No, but you know, it is amazing, all these financial education things that, you know, people need to be aware. Roderick, how do they get in touch with you?
You can reach out to me at 240-997-4024. I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and again, the Shirley Luu Associates, you can always Google my name, easy to find, but you can also personally reach me at 703-608-1203. Like I've always said, I like to end my show by saying, guys, remember, we rise by uplifting others.